Welcome to News Video Clip. Well, it was another wacky day at the White House where President Trump welcomed Medicaid and Medicare Director Dr. Oz, the TV doctor, and a bunch of other people to celebrate mom.gov, which is a new website that the Trump administration has created. So, anyways, during this meeting, Trump made the insane claim that there is a drug that can actually bring dead people back to life. So let's listen to our insane commander in chief.
By the way, we think we've cut it in half, but you do need a period of time. Without waiting many, many years, we know the drug works because we've taken people that were dead. We had a person given the last rites, gone. The kids are crying and started them on this drug, and the person became better. It works, and some don't work. But you learn really fast. It's called the ultimate test, I think.
Yeah, I guess bringing a dead person back to life really is the ultimate test, right? Wow. And isn't it amazing how nobody else has talked about this drug? Nobody's mentioned the resurrection drug that's out there that apparently people can just take when they're dead and come back to life. Wow. Thankfully, we have President Trump for this incredible medical breakthrough, right? Um, Later on in the meeting, President Trump did what he does best, falls asleep. Yes, our great president fell asleep in the middle of his own meeting. Let's take a look at this. Dr. Oz is rambling.
On this. We're investing a lot of money training more people to work in rural America. And we're also using telehealth tools. So you have big, sophisticated urban centers adopting smaller facilities, clinics, so they can help moms deliver babies wherever they may live. You don't have to drive across state to get there. Now, as great as this all is, and as fantastic as it has been to have 50 governors, in this case, Mr. President, even the Democratic.
Okay, so Trump finally wakes up. And I don't know if you were really listening closely to what Dr. Oz said, but he was saying women can have babies in rural areas, like out in the country, while the doctor is on telehealth. So the doctor's not actually there in the rural hospital or anything. He's actually phoning it in. So, how many of you ladies would like to give birth without a real doctor in the room? That's what Dr. Oz is really excited about. Anyways, so that wasn't the first time Trump fell asleep during this meeting. He did fall asleep again, and we'll take a look at that video real quickly. Just absolutely nuts.
Pharmaceutical cost. So Trump RX has brought a lot of the prices of medications down. For me personally, Gonal F has been one of the main medicines that people use for egg retrievals, and that I could not find it anywhere on any other website or for cheaper. So
And so there we go. The commander in chief just snoozing away. And by the way, wasn't Donald Trump the one who used to call Joe Biden Sleepy Joe? What are we going to call Trump? Dozing Don? Because he clearly can't stay awake in the middle of the afternoon. Unbelievable. Now, Trump did wake up so he could praise the communist leader, President Xi of China, who has a long history of violating human rights. So here's Trump praising him.
Great gentleman. I find him to be an amazing man. And when I say that, the press always says, "Oh, that's terrible that he calls him." He runs 1.4 million people with a pretty iron fist. He loves his country. I can tell you that, President Xi. I look forward to being there.
Oh, I'm sure he does. In fact, I bet President Trump would love to be President Xi. Just be an outright dictator, just absolute fascist. I'm sure that is Trump's dream. In fact, we have a little of that kind of seeping out today on Fox News. One of the Fox News anchors said that Trump wants to take Venezuela and turn it into the 51st state. Let's roll the video.
I was talking to the president this morning. It was just before the Oval Office event. He kind of surprised me a little bit because he said, John, I just want to tell you, I'm very serious about this. So you can talk about this. I'm serious about beginning a process to make Venezuela the 51st state. Now, there's a rich history in this nation of taking territories and absorbing them into the United States. You know, Puerto Rico is one that people talk about. But this would be the first time, to my knowledge, that a sovereign country was ever invited to join the United States of America. How would that work?
Well, John, I won't get ahead of what the president was comfortable sharing with you as far as those plans go. But look, this is a president who is famous for never accepting the status quo. He is always considering a host of options to improve our country. And of course, Venezuela now.
Okay, well, the status quo is actually that Venezuela is a sovereign country. Apparently, Anna Kelly, who is the deputy press secretary, is not aware of this basic fact. Apparently, she's also not aware that only Congress can create another state. Only Congress could create the 51st state, not President Trump. So it's just amazing how she just sits there and rambles on and chirps on like a complete moron. I have to wonder, did she graduate high school? I don't know. Anyways, that's all we have for today. We have links to all of our stories right below the video. Unlike these right-wing podcasters like Joe Rogan and Benny Johnson, Tim Pool, and all the other liars, we back up our stories. They don't. All righty. Please like and subscribe, or you can hate and subscribe, but just make sure you subscribe. All righty. We'll be back later with more stories.